The whole secret is Keter Malcuth. Keter Malcuth on its own is 620 plus 496. That's 1,116. That's the name Shimon with a final Nun 700. That happens to be my brother's name. And the Vav Nun is a diminutive of Shema, so it relates to the Shema. So if you take Keter Malcuth and you add its two words, Keter Malcuth, you get 1,118, which is the gematria of the Shema itself. So when we're dealing in Keter Malcuth, we're dealing in the Shema. Another thing about it is that what I've learned now in some of the readings is that, Keter is Ein Sof. Ein Sof is within Keter. So when we're dealing in Keter, we're also dealing in Ein Sof. And another thing that I've picked up is that Malcuth is really the Assiah world. So this Assiah world, this physical world, comes and tops Malcuth, so to speak. Tops Keter, so to speak. And you get the Keter of Malcuth. This Keter Malcuth happens to be like a circle. This circle is a samach, and is the samach of Ein Sof. Because that aleph is within the samach. But for me today, this understanding of Assiah world, Assiah as Malcuth, you see? So it's really, when they say Keter Malcuth, it's really Keter Assiah. Keter Assiah. So now let me do Keter. And I'm showing you how Keter Assiah. Assiah is the din of Keter. And the dinam and the din are always higher than the kedusha. The first letter is the kedusha, and the rest of the spelling is the din. And the din comes from a higher source than the kedusha. So we have the word Keter as Kaf, Tav, Resh. Each of these letters, now I'm going to fully spell them out. Kaf is Kaf Pei. Tav is Tav Vav. And Resh is Resh Shin. Strange thing right there is that these three letters of Kaf, Tav, Resh, which is Keter, have only two letters each. They have a kedusha and a din letter. So now we know that Keter is 620. So let's do the din letters. The din letters are the Pei for the Keter, for the Kaf, the Vav for the Tov, that's 86 right there, which is Elohim, and then the Shin for the Resh, that's 386. 386 comes out to be Assiah, which is 385, plus 1, the kollel. So we have the din of Keter is Assiah. And the full sum now, this is the full sum of Kaf Tov Resh, comes out to be 1006. And this is the great secret here, that it's 1006, which happens to be one of my symbols. And so what we have is Keter is 620, Assiah is 385, comes out to be, the sum of that is 1005, and his songs were 1005. And every verse of Shir HaShirim is an Aleph and a Hey, 1005. Aleph is the masculine, Hey is the feminine, and in my symbol, the Hey crowns the Aleph. One of the reasons I'm turned on to this is that the Nazir comes from Keter. That's the secret of the Nazir. It's above Chokhmah. Chokhmah, by the way, is represented by yayin, wine, and this is above wine. And yayin is 70 plus 3 letters, that's 73, and that's the gematria of Chokhmah. And the Nazir is from Keter, Ein Sof. And what it is the Nazir is like a woman. His hair like a woman. And that woman is represented as Malcuth. And the hair of the Nazir becomes a Keter Malcuth. I have many things that are related to this, but my thing today mainly is that Keter Malcuth should have another name as Keter Assiah. And this Assiah is 1005. And it would be a lot easily understood if the Assiah world here rises and is above the Keter world. And therefore, one must make a physical domain and a manifestation in the physical world. My symbol of 1005 of a Keter Malcuth I was given 30 years ago. And in that dream, there were 2 hands on either side. And when my brother was dying, he had the attack and his hands went like this, and I'm too dumb to know that this was a part of my dream, of the symbol of my dream. I was shaking at the attack. Remember, these things are all for me. I have so many things here, I'm not even going to write them down. How do I say it? I have 1,600 videos. It's not the path. It has to be another path. It has to be a manifestation of the self, not in the intellect. Because if this doesn't grab you today with the Keter Assiah, as 1005 is another name for Keter Malcuth. And the whole idea of Shia HaSharim and the whole thing is like a sexual metaphor. Always remember that sexual doesn't have to be orgasmic in the sense of orgasmic as an external manifestation. But it can be an internal running up and down the shoshum, the channel. You know? And that is one of the reasons for the hair, which locks it. You know? Locks the door. When the door is locked, there's no exit. I think it's Naha Dalit or something, I don't know. So I have much more here also that I got it's a Keter Malcuth of the Aleph in front of in the eyes of the Shema, replacing the ayin, so to speak. And then making sure there's a dalet at the end, a double dalet, so it's not a resh. And so you have an aid, you know, and a moisture. Ayin, aleph, dalet. And that moisture is on the face of the good. That's feminine waters. Mayim nukuvim, rising up and watering the face of the Adamah, the Bina, rising up. And in there, when this occurs, so you really have an ed. An ed, it's not an ed ayin dalet, it's a aleph dalet. Whoa. And I received the ibor